It's week 46 on Mounjaro, and today I'm answering all the questions that I constantly get asked about being on this journey. How much weight have I actually lost? Does the food noise really go away? And is it worth it in the long run? I'm also answering questions from you guys out there, so stick around for how this week's gone and the weigh-in, because it was a bit of a surprise this week. Let's get straight into it and roll this week's titles. Hey folks, if you're new here, I'm Ali, and this is my real life Mounjaro weight loss journey, and each week I share my honest ups and downs, weigh-ins, side effects, and how I'm feeling week to week. No hype, no filters, just the truth. This week it's a Q&A session split into two sections. The first one's going to be the questions from you guys out there, and then after that I'm going to give you my top 12 questions that I get asked all the time from friends, family, and work colleagues. Let's start this week with the questions from you guys, because they always spark the most interest. I'll read out the people's names and put the questions on the screen, but remember, I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not a doctor, this is just my personal answers to these questions. So first up is Corin-PC2MQ. There's going to be some weird names within this. Hi Ali, this is a bit of an observation and follow-on question really. I've watched a few YouTubers recently who've started maintenance and still taking Mounjaro, who are still losing weight rather than staying in their weight bracket. I'm starting to wonder if it's best to taper down quite significantly. Example, if you're on 5 milligrams and decide to maintain, take 2.5 for a while, then short dose it gradually. Or whether calorie increase needs to be considered, more of staying on a higher dose. What are your thoughts? Thank you, and PS, I love your channel. Well, thanks very much for tuning in every week. And, I'm really grateful for everybody out there that actually does watch this week on week. And, I just like to give all my personal experience that I've done on this journey, first of all. I just want to say that. But regarding this question, well, I've started to taper down this week, which I'll go into later on in this video. But I would say I would think about upping your calories, because upping your calories is really going to just help you stay in that weight bracket. I've decided on a £5 up or £5 down. I'm below it at the moment. I'm not below the actual bracket, but I'm still in it. I'm in the lower half of it. So I would say definitely think about doing that. And if you are on a higher dosage, then start tapering down. Maybe take a month where, if you're on 10, for instance, come a month on 7.5, if that's okay, a month on 5. Just slowly bring yourself back down the doses. Don't go cold turkey. I've had numerous friends do this and people on the internet, and the food noise just comes back with a vengeance, and then they end up going back on it again. So yeah, just slowly bring yourself off it. If you want to stay off it for good, you're going to have to get those mindsets that you've done over the last how many months you've been on it into practice, because the food noise probably will come back pretty badly. But yeah, just taper down and see if you can come off it. If you can't, a lot of providers are actually going to let you come back on it within 3 months. Mine does. So you've got that as a backup. Okie doke. Next one's Man Does Midlife. So this guy does his own channels. So give it a watch. I'll put his name up on the screen as well. Hi Ali, what's your thoughts on long-term use and possibility of being in these meds forever? I fear many like me may possibly have to either dip in and out or be lifers. So this is an interesting question, because I always thought I would come off it at some point, and I have started tapering down, as I said. It's all going to depend on how it goes. If I get down to 2.5 and the food noise is still gone, I may stay on that for a wee while, and then I might try and come off it altogether. If I do, I'm going to have to make sure I've definitely got everything I've learned over this last year in my head and just action it. I'm not going to have that crutch of Mounjaro to fall back on, which is definitely a worry for sure. But if I've got to be on this for life, I would consider it. It's not that expensive for me being on 5 milligrams or less. I know a lot of people are on the higher doses, which really isn't feasible, to keep up long term. But if I can stay this weight with just a 2.5 milligram injection, I'll be well happy with that. I don't want to go back up. If I come off it completely and then I start gradually increasing the weight, there's no way I'm going back to a 30 BMI again. And that's what I want to avoid the most. So it's just going to see how it goes. And obviously I'll tell all you guys how it is going on week. Okay, next one's from GLP-1 Journey and Review. This is Laurie, this is a friend of mine. She's in America. She's got an amazing channel. I'll put her link up above, or I'll put it in the comments as well. She does interviews. She interviewed me when I first started on this, and she's just excellent at all her interviews, and she does loads of other stuff as well. So give her channel a watch for sure. Her question is, hi Ali, what are your thoughts on people using GLP-1s for 10 to 15 pounds of weight loss? Well, personally, I would be doing it for your life. Do you know what I mean? This is your life. You don't want to be fluctuating up and down your weight all your life like I've done for the last 30 odd years. So if you want to do it for 10 to 15 pounds, go ahead. But then what are you going to do when you come off it? Because you're just going to pile that back on because you've not got anything in place to replace all your bad, all that bad stuff that's been happening over your life. You're just going to go back to old habits. And to me, yeah, you might want to lose a stone on it, 10 to 15 pounds, whatever it may be. I just think doing that, you're just going to fire it back on when you come off it again. And then you're going to be on and off all the time. You need to think ahead. What is it going to be like it when you get to your target weight? Say you lose a stone. It's more than just losing a stone. As I said, it's just the rest of your life. Get your weight under control and just get your life sorted so you don't have to worry about the weight. I mean, now that I don't worry about weight as much, it's a total weight off my mind. Because before, I used to go through the guilt trips. I used to go through, just agony over it. Just, I've had something to eat. Now I've got to exercise it off, and we all know that never happens. It's just such a hard life having problems with your weight your whole adult life, which I have. I've got to admit it, I have. I've never been happy at a higher weight. And a lot of people are happy at being bigger, but I wasn't one of them. And this is why I'm doing this. I want to sort it out once and for all. I'm getting too old to do this rubbish anymore. So this is my last ditch attempt to get it all fixed out. And I think I'm doing pretty well so far. So let's see. Anyway, on to the next question. It's from Mulshy Peas 7689. And they've said, if a daily pill form of Mounjaro was to be made available like Wegovy and at a price that was slightly cheaper, would you consider trying that, or would you just stick to the pen? And his name's Gary from East Ayrshire in Scotland. Well, that's a really interesting question. I did think about doing Wegovy injections for maintenance, but because Mounjaro is working so well, I didn't want to take that chance and squander some money if it didn't going to work. I would consider a pill if I was on the lowest dose for maintenance. If they came out with a Mounjaro pill, and it was way cheaper than the injections, I'd definitely try it. I think a lot of people would try it. I don't like injecting myself, if I'm honest. I've got used to it now. Yeah, and it's just a routine. It doesn't annoy me, or I just don't like needles really, but we do what we do to lose the weight. If there was a pill you could take in the morning, just like your multivitamin pills, then I would definitely be up for that, especially if it's cheaper. I can't see why it wouldn't be cheaper, because you're not paying for the manufacture of a pen, you're not refrigerating it. So it's bound to be cheaper in the long run. And all these companies are going to start battling against each other for everybody's attention. So I can just see it getting cheaper further down the line. So that's an interesting one. Next is from Grammy Don B. Hi, I'm in the US and I'm still on my journey. I've lost 30 pounds, well done, and I have 30 to go. My question is, the US now has released the Wegovy pill. I'm wondering if this would be a good option for maintenance. I'm currently on Zepbound, but I know once I hit my weight loss goal, my insurance will no longer cover weight loss medications. Right, so in America, insurance pays for a lot of people's Mounjaro or Wegovy, unlike the UK where we don't have that. So she's wondering if it's best to move to Wegovy pill. Well, give it a go. Do you know what I mean? If it's going to be cheap enough for you to do it on your own without the insurance kicking in, go for it, especially if it's like a really low dosage, like 0.25 or 0.5 on Wegovy. I would definitely try it if it was a last-ditch attempt to stay at the weight I wanted to stay at. So, yeah, give it a go. It's really bad that America, get charged an absolute fortune and they've got to claim it on their insurance. I don't agree with that at all. Next question is Lucas Carlson. Hi, Ali. I'm currently 3.75 milligrams every 5 days, and my weight loss has stalled for the last month. In fact, the scales are creeping back up. Have you got any tips on how to break this plateau? Well, I always say go back to basics. Look at your water intake, up it, 2-3 litres a day. Increase your strength training, which I'm obviously trying to do if I get rid of this blooming injury. And I would also say protein. If you're hungry, reach in the fridge, get some ham, get some chicken, eat that. I definitely think eating meat is better than having like a protein shake. I just find them a lot more, you feel fuller for longer if you eat meat personally. But yeah, go back to basics. Look at your exercise. Are you doing enough exercise? If not, up it a wee bit. Even if you can't do much exercise, go out, do a walk for 20 minutes. Even that is going to make such a difference. But yeah, go back to logging your calories as well. I would definitely say that is definitely staying in a calorie deficit is a must. So go back to that, give it a shot, and let me know how you get on. Next up is Mr. Big Blue 40. Hi Ali, we've all heard that it's cheating comments, haven't we all? Have you ever had that, and how did you deal with it? Congratulations, get into maintenance, and good luck with going forward. Dawn. Thanks, Dawn. Yep, it's great getting into maintenance, I must admit. So chuffed when I got to that stage in my journey. We've all had the cheating comments. I think everybody's had stuff, not just you're cheating, you got the ones, just exercise and eat less. Don't you think you've been trying that for 30 odd years? Did it work? You can't exercise off a bad diet. Let's face it. And yeah, I just ignore the comments now. Everybody's got their opinion on it, and that's fine, but people need to educate themselves on these injections. They aren't a quick fix. You have to work at it alongside the injection. It's just a crutch to help you get to your goal target. You can't just sit back, inject yourself, and the weight's going to fall off. You need to do the work, and people don't think about that, and yeah, they need to. So, yes, next question is from Hilde Shildon. Hi Ali, I've no specific question, but would like feedback on how people decided what to set as their target weight. This is interesting because I'm getting a lot of, you don't want to lose anymore. Yep, had that. The top end of a BMI range is 10 stone 5. I currently weigh 11 stone 2. I will be over the moon to be 10 stone 13. My aim is to achieve 10.7 and have a 7 pound buffer, so ideally not go above 11 stone ever again. But why, oh why, does the voice in my head tell me that my BMI matters so much? Right, so my answer to this is, I think BMI is an outdated system, and I really don't agree with everybody going with BMIs. mean, you could be really tall and and if it tells you to get to a BMI and you're muscly, I just don't agree with it. It just feels off for me, and I don't know why everybody still uses it. We need some new system. Because like bodybuilders are classed as overweight or obese, but just because they weigh so much, but it's all muscle, so it doesn't really work in the real life anymore. I would just say to this, just think of a target. I changed my target 3 times. I thought I would try and get down 2 stone, then I changed it to 3. I think it was 3.5, and then I changed it back up a wee bit. I didn't want to go down too far, and you can change your goal at any time. You know what I mean? If you think you get to a specific weight and you're still feeling like you're too fat or too heavy, and in your brain you're not happy, you do you. Go a bit lower, and just don't go too far. Just make sure you look at yourself in the mirror and let your brain catch up with your body, because we all know that can take a long time. But yeah, you do you. In your brain, whatever you've got as a goal, wait till you get to that target. If it still doesn't feel right, then keep going. But you'll get there in the end. Believe me, it just takes a wee while. It takes as long as it takes. Good luck. And the last question is from Mary Moonpie. Right, lovely name that. I stopped taking it in October just due to the cost. That's after the September price increase here in the UK. But my appetite got uncontrollable, menopause in the mix, and I could feel the weight coming back on. So I'm on it again. But how terrified I am that I need it forever. Have you any advice? Not on the menopause bit. Well, that's good, because I can't help you with that bit. But yeah, I'm worried about coming off it for the food noise coming back in my head. And I just think stick to all the things you've learnt along your journey. Put them into practice. If you feel peckish, don't always give in to just eating junk. Go and have a pint of water. Go and have some protein. Go out a walk. Just take your mind off it. I'm hoping the food noise can stay away from me for good, even on a really low dosage. But all remains to be seen. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But yeah, I can imagine it's quite hard dealing with this and the menopause. But yeah, and I bet you're freezing as well. Hot, cold flushes. But good luck. I'm sure you'll get back to your maintenance goal again in time. But as I said, it just takes as long as it takes. There's no time limit on this journey. Just keep going. So that's all the questions that I've had from you guys. I'm going to move on to a quick fire questions for the ones that I've got. Okay, so number 1 is going to be, how much weight have you actually lost on Mounjaro? That's the first question I get asked all the time. And I've lost 49 pounds to date. So I'm just off that 50 mark. And it feels great. I know sometimes I go on about it's hard being maintenance and stuff, but do you know what? It's just so much, life is so much lighter in my head and in my body as well. Just getting to the target that I wanted to get to. I feel great in myself, feel more energetic. I've got so much more confidence. I love wearing new clothes. Getting into medium and small sizes is just crazy to me still, because I've always been large, extra large all my life. And now I've sold all those clothes, so I can't go back. And I'm not going back. So that's the one I always get asked the most. Next question is number 2. How fast did the weight come off? For me, I lost 4 pounds in the first 2 weeks, each week. And then it was roughly about 1 to 2 pounds a week ever since. And I think that is key, because that is the recommended amount of weight to lose, 1 to 2 pounds a week. And I was really lucky. I went all the way down, and every single week I lost. 1 week I maintained, and 1 week I put on 1 pound. So I was well chuffed. I've had such a steady journey. I know a lot of people go up and down. But for me, it's just been a godsend. And it is definitely a game changer. I know everybody says that all the time, but it's just so true. Question 3 is what dose am I on and did I increase it every month? This is a really interesting one because I stayed on 2.5, which is the entry dose to Mounjaro, for 18 weeks. I was staying on 2.5 for 18 weeks because I didn't feel the need to go up. I was losing the weight, so why increase it? And I don't know why pharmacies keep asking people to go up all the time unless it's a cash cow, all the money. Because if you're losing, stick with it until it plateaus or the food noise comes back, then consider going up. And that's my advice. Question 4 is what side effects have I had? Well, if you've been watching my videos, I've pretty much had them all. I've had the dry mouth, I've had the headaches, cold all the time, dizzy spells, I even fainted once, wasn't great. Sulfur burps, horrible. Diarrhea, constipation, you name it, I've had it. I think the only one I've not had, I don't feel sick. Not had that one yet, all this time. And I've also had like itchy skin. It's almost like when you're lying in bed and the covers are touching you. It feels like you don't want them to touch you. It's weird. It's a weird thing to explain. I've had that as well. But they're all manageable. I wouldn't change it. I would still go through with all that and go through with the injection because it's been so worth it for me. Question 5 is, does Mounjaro stop food noise completely? For me, pretty much yes, it does. There are times when towards the end of the week, you might feel a wee bit hungry, on your 6th or 7th day, because I split doses. Sometimes you get it, day 3 and day 6. But yeah, for me, it's like a switch in my head. It's been turned off and I don't crave food anymore. And that is the biggest takeaway for me. It's just been excellent. And a lot of people are definitely relate to this. That's for sure. What if you miss a week for your dose? That's number 6. Well, you can still take a dose again. If you're a day late, doesn't matter. Still take it. People seem to think it's a panic station. If you've missed your time slot, it's fine. Just take it the next day. It ain't going to affect you that much, honest to God. So that one's fine. Question 7 is, can you still enjoy food? Yes, is the answer to that. Of course you can. Don't get me wrong, some foods you won't want to eat again because it kind of give you the ick. But yeah, you can still enjoy good food. You're probably not best eating like takeaway food, things like fast food, McDonald's, that type of thing. But yeah, you can definitely enjoy food still, so don't worry about that. Question 8 is, what happens when you come off Mounjaro? Well, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? And the answer to that is I don't know yet, because I've not reached that stage. But when I do, I will definitely let you know. Question 9 is, Mounjaro worth the money? For me, yes. It's roughly £164 a month. I've saved more than that on takeaways, eating out, boozing. The only thing that is expensive is buying new clothes, a whole new wardrobe, which I've had to do. But for me, I would say it's definitely 100% been worth it. Question 10 is, would you start again knowing what I know now? For sure, yes, I would. I wish I'd maybe clued myself up a wee bit more before I started my journey, and that's why I started this channel, so I can help you guys not have to go through the pain I did. But yes, I would definitely go through with it all again, even the ups, and in-betweens and the downs. It's all been fine and it's all manageable. At the end of the day, I'm way happier. Question 11 is about loose skin. Does it happen? Yep, unfortunately it will. If you've been heavy all your life, it's not going to bounce back. Well, some of it will. Some of it, if you put the work in to get some muscle to fill it in, it's going to help. Taking some pills, some creatine, things like that are definitely going to help. But ultimately, I've got some saggy skin, I've got bingo wings, I've got a little bit around my stomach and a little bit around my legs. But I would rather have a bit of that than being obese again, because I'm only looking at myself in the mirror when I'm naked. Nobody else is. They only see me when I'm fully clothed. And I think I look pretty good fully clothed. So, yes. And number 12 is mood, mental health and motivation. So basically I get asked, how's my moods? Well, my moods are really good. I feel a lot more happier, healthier, you know, just your headspace is so much better. You don't have to think about food constantly. I used to think about when's my next dinner, what I'm going to have for lunch, what snack can I have, what can I go to the fridge and get. I don't really think about that anymore. If anything, I forget to eat sometimes, which isn't great, but I'd rather that than the opposite. And yeah, sometimes drinking enough water, etc., is hard, but I log things in the app and I try and do it as much as I can. I think if you've got a memory problem as well, just log everything down in the app or write it down or something like that and just keep yourself accountable for sure. But yeah, mood's been great and I just feel more motivated to do stuff. You are going to get down days, don't get me wrong, but mostly you're going to feel elated because you feel lighter and people will comment on that and that'll make you feel good. And you'll walk past a window and you'll think, damn, I look bloody good. Done that before. I've even looked myself back in the window and I think, is that really me? It's nuts. It really is. But you are really going to be so much happier in your life. Do you know what I mean? You just feel a weight's been lifted off. I can't say it any more plainly than that. And yeah, great. Okay, there's all the questions done. Let's move on to what's happened this week. And we'll start off with dosage first. So I decided it's week 46. I'm coming down to 3.75 milligrams and I'm splitting it into 2 times 1.87 milligram doses twice a week. I've not noticed a difference yet because it's too soon. I only took one this week, but I will keep you all informed on how it's going and titrating down and just how the food noise stays away or doesn't. Soon find out. I may stay on this strength a month or two and then move down to 2.5. We shall see how that goes. Let's talk about exercise this week. So I'll pop up my Parkrun while I'm talking about this. Check the Victoria Parkrun route while I talk about what's happened with exercise this week. I've been doing a little bit of weight training, but my injury is still playing havoc with this. So I'm waiting on x-ray results. If you watched last week's video from the hospital about my rotator cuff, it's really annoying me now because it's not getting any better and I'm a bit more pain. I had to go back to the doctor and get more painkillers. The occupational therapist, I had a conversation with him yesterday and he says keep doing the exercises every second day and we'll see what comes back from the x-ray. So I will keep you informed on what's happening with that. I'm just hoping it's nothing more sinister than my rotator cuff, but we shall see with that. Trying to get more workouts done on the bike. I've been varying it a wee bit. I've done climb rides. I've had lots of 80s vibe music, which I definitely love. It's the best genre for me. I did some arms and intervals, and then I've been doing a couple of power zone classes as well, just trying to change it up a bit. But this week I did go to Victoria Parkrun, as you can see. I plan to just plod round it to get some good video footage. It's 3 laps with a slight increase in elevation, about 10 metres. I was near the front when I started and I thought, let's just go for it. And I was only a few seconds off a course PB. And I wasn't even aiming to go for that. But having less fat around my body has definitely helped me for sure. That's definitely a big plus. Anyway, do you guys like the parkrun routes? Let me know in the comments. I just wanted to spice things up a wee bit and give you a look at my new camera. It's pretty decent and I'm really enjoying getting some shots and some video footage, and you can actually see what it looks like from a runner's perspective. So let me know what you think. Let's talk quickly about side effects this week. So they've been pretty mild. I've been pretty cold, although the weather has been really bad in the UK just now. It's freezing, it's a bitterly cold wind, so I kind of expect to be cold. Dry mouth, I've got it right now, just for speaking too much. The dizziness is still there, and that's going to be interesting to see if it goes away when I lower my dosage over the next few weeks, and I'll report back on how that goes. Now let's do a quick update on dry January. It's completed at last. The horrible January month is finally gone. It's completed, and are you guys bothered? How did you get on? I managed it, and now we're on the 6th of February, and I've still not had a drink yet. I might have a cider tonight, we'll see. Have I missed the booze? Not really. You know, I think I totally scunnered myself with it in December and all those social events. Oh, and by the way, for my friends in America, scunnered is a Scottish term for sickened myself or fed up. Yeah, I just love that term, it's so descriptive. But yeah, I can take it or leave it, the booze. I still like a wee tipple now and again. But to be honest, Mounjaro has definitely put me off alcohol a wee bit. And I suppose that's a good thing, because let's face it, at the end of the day, it's just empty calories. And you could be having some food instead of some booze for all those calories that you've consumed. Okie doke, let's move on to this week's weigh-in. Last week, I was at 10 stone, 13.5 pounds, or 69.6 kilograms. Now this week, I wasn't sure which way the scales would go. I felt like I've not been eating that much this week for some reason. I don't know why, if it's maybe just stress with work or what. But as I said, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. And I was pretty surprised to find out that I've lost half a pound. So I'm now 10 stone 13 pounds, or 69.4 kilograms. And this puts my BMI firmly in the centre of the normal range now, which still blows my mind. Thinking back, I was 30 BMI at the start of this journey. So it just shows you how you can come down the numbers. It's hard to believe next month it will be a year since I started Mounjaro, and I'll be sure to do a video covering the whole year, the good, the bad and the ugly, so definitely tune in for that. Are any of you guys thinking of titrating down now that you've reached your target goal? Then check out my video that I did talking about the fear and much, much more. I'll link it in the description on the screen and at the end of the video. Give it a watch and see what you think. If this video has helped you in any way, please give it a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to the channel. If you're following a GLP-1 journey or even thinking about it, then this is definitely for you. Please watch some of my videos and get yourself some background before you start it. And if you really want to support the channel even more, think about buying me a coffee. It's in the description. I'd really appreciate it, but you're under no obligation to do so, of course. But I do appreciate everybody watching week in, week out. I know I ramble on a bit, but I just want to pass on all my experience to you guys so you don't have to fall at any hurdles along the way. So thanks again for all the questions that you gave me for this video, and I'm sorry if I missed you question out, but I can always cover it in a future video if you want to drop me another message. I hope you all have a good week. Stick to your plan, stick to your target, and try not to fall off the wagon. And until next week, I am saying goodbye and signing off. Take care for now.